Okay, welcome everybody to the studio of Common Tales. I have got a guest today here. So, thank you very much for joining Common Tales today. What's your name? Introduce yourself, please.
My name is Elif. I'm 59 years old. I come from England,
Where were you born in England?
Greenwich.
Greenwich. And how long did you stay there in England for?
Well, I moved here 10 years ago, but part of my childhood was in Cyprus from the ages of 5 to 12.
Okay. So, how did you find England while you were growing up as a teenage there in England?
Isolated. Isolated, I
What,
would say.
what could be the reasons you felt isolated?
I think it was cultural reasons more than anything else, because where I first lived, we were the only foreign family living in the area at the time. I was the only Turkish girl in my school.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to have friends, so it was an isolated childhood.
When we say you weren't allowed to have friends, you mean your parents were choosing your friends, or?
My parents basically didn't want me to socialise outside school hours.
Oh, okay, so it was a restrictive sort of environment.
Yeah, very restrictive.
And were you a rebellious child? Did you do anything?
Not as a child, but in my teens I became a bit rebellious and ran away a couple of times.
Okay.
I ran away when we lived in East Anglia. I ran away at the age of 17. Found myself at Liverpool Street. Didn't know where to go.
Oh.
So I had an address book on me. I looked up a relative, went there, but unfortunately my parents came and got me back.
Wow. So it wasn't a big sign, a kind of abduction sort of story that somebody.
Oh no, it was running away.
Running away.
Yes, it was running away from.
And
isolation.
Do you think such things are happening commonly in England nowadays, or what do you think? I mean, the times have changed now.
I'm sure it still does from restrictive backgrounds, culturally, recluse families or religious reasons, whatever. I think a lot of the missing persons are probably to do with their strict upbringing.
Okay,
they find a way to run away.
Yeah. So, how would you be with your children if you have a daughter, for example? Would you let her be the way she wants to be, or are you going to be a strict one? How would you be?
Luckily, I don't have daughters, you see.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have daughters. If I did have one, I don't know. I've been kind of strict with my boys, so I think with a daughter I would have been more strict.
Okay. So
not necessarily the same strictness that my parents imposed on me, but strict up to a point.
So when did you move out of England for the first time, and you said, okay, now that's it, I'm going to spend a life of my own and move somewhere else?
Yeah, 2010.
2010.
2009 I moved to Cyprus. Couldn't handle the change. I went back, came back in 2011. Ups and downs. It has its ups and downs living here. So, especially financially, working in the private sector, it's not very accommodating. So I went and worked in Dubai for a couple of years, came back. I like living here, but it's difficult. It has its difficulties in terms of job security, financial, for example, opportunities, lack of opportunities. So I'm still on the lookout again to move on.
What did you study in England?
I studied social studies, mixed discipline of psychology and sociology, because initially my intention was to go into social work. Then I changed my mind and I went into teaching, and I've been teaching.
Why didn't you join the social work? What was the reason?
Social work, I think it was the hours and the placements of, the number of hours you would have to put in per day.
Yeah.
And obviously having placements away from where you live, and being a single parent at the time didn't really suit my situation. So I chose to go into teaching instead.
And where did you start teaching first of all?
My first placement was in Newham.
Okay, Newham.
Newham.
Okay, and did you find it good? Did you like it?
It was for a newly qualified teacher. I had supportive colleagues, so it was good, and the borough was actually very helpful in terms of helping you get your qualified teacher status and the experience. And Newham, being an inner London borough, paid better than where I was living in Waltham Forest, so it was a good first year replacement.
So what made you leave London or England?
A failed marriage.
Okay. What happened? I mean, after the marriage, what did you decide? I mean, after the failure of the marriage, what did you
Well,
thought?
the ex-husband left me in a lot of debt. It was getting to a point where bringing up a child and keeping everything going was becoming extremely difficult. And instead of facing the risk of losing what I had, it made more sense to me financially at the time to sell up and pay off everything that I was left to deal with, and then basically buy something here to live in, which is not a lot, but it's an asset.
So
it's my own home.
So you moved to the North Cyprus.
I moved to North Cyprus.
Turkish Republic of North Cyprus. How was
the
it?
Banana Republic.
Was it?
Banana Republic.
Was it 10 years ago?
In total, I've been here 10 years.
10 years.
It would have been 13, but I went back and I came back, and then I worked abroad for 2 years and back. So total, I've been living here 10 years.
So how were your initial years over here? How did you
Initial
find?
years, trying.
Trying what?
Trying as in hard to adapt
Okay.
to the ways of, we know how to live in London, and for example, you want to get a kimlik, you want to get yourself a, identity card. It was like, if you don't know people in the right places, it's queuing after queuing, phone call after phone call. It's very frustrating till you actually learn the ways of coping with things like that here.
Did you face any language difficulties as well? Or?
No, because I speak Turkish, getting better.
Good.
But not in written terms, not in an academic way, but my Turkish is well enough to get me by, but it's not academic Turkish.
Okay,
it's just everyday language.
Let's try to know a little bit about your Turkish as well. In Turkish, when we say where are you going, how do we say?
Nereye gidiyorsunuz?
And when will you come back?
Ne zaman döneceksiniz?
I am trying my best to be successful in the exams.
Elimden geleni yaparım başarılı olmak için.
Very good. You are speaking it like you are speaking English, so we can call you a native fluent speaker. So what do you teach here? I mean, you are a teacher here?
Yes, I'm a primary school teacher, but I am teaching English here, which is not the same thing.
Okay.
Teaching English is not the same as being a primary school teacher. Primary school teacher teaches all the subjects in a curriculum. Here, my main focus is on just delivering English.
English language.
English language.
So
reading, writing.
Is it okay? One can survive by just being a primary school teacher.
I think
over here?
survive is the right word. Just about survive.
Okay. If you have a preference between staying here and England, or let me rephrase this question. If you are 10 years back in time and you have a choice to come here or to stay in England, what would you do?
Knowing what I know now,
yeah,
I think I would stay there.
In England?
Yeah.
I mean, now these days when you visit England back, when you stay there, do you think that you could live there?
No, I don't now.
Why?
I mean, no, I don't think I can survive in England now. Even for a couple of weeks, I just want to come back. There's something here.
What is that? Can you tell
Maybe
us?
it's the weather. Maybe it's the colleagues you meet up and friends you make. There's a more social. For example, over there, if you're sick, nobody's ever going to knock at your door and ask you if you're okay. But here, if my car is in that car park for 2 days during working days,
Yeah.
someone will knock at my door and ask me if I'm all right and why aren't I at work.
So
I like that.
so it's more of communication and interaction and
Yeah.
close relation with the people around here.
Yes, maybe less friends here, but more genuine friends.
Man, more genuine. Why do you think this difference is between the two societies? Is it more being more advanced, or what is the reason?
Cyprus is not more advanced. Cyprus is more relaxed. They've got this blasé attitude to everything, whereas in England, everything's stress, stress, stress. Your day begins earlier, your day finishes later. You know, you have to work harder, especially, I mean, here is the private sector. Over there is just as demanding working for the government. I think it's the more laid back attitude here. Even though I am not laid back, perhaps it helps me being around people who are a bit more laid back.
So this
less stressed.
This laid back behavior in terms of the whole country's progress. If we see here, the country is not progressing.
No.
North Cyprus.
No.
And they are very easygoing in terms of working, whatever they are doing. They are not very serious here. But
No,
people are
they're
having,
not producers.
They are not producers.
Cypriots are not producers.
But
they
they-
haven't got the hard work ethic that we know from England. You know, you need to work.
But I
But
mean,
they don't have that here.
See, everybody working, everything is disciplined. Every person has got a lot of work to do. It's a very strict schedule for everybody in England, and the country is progressing as well. I mean, they are okay financially.
Smaller, yeah.
But the thing is, it is affecting us humans as well, because we become like almost machines, you
Zombies.
know, zombies. And if you travel on the underground train, people are just like lost in the air.
Yeah, they're
but,
like
we see more interaction.
sardines in a tin. Especially if you're short like me and you have to stand under somebody's armpit on the tube.
Yeah. So you like it.
Sweat in the summer, for goodness sake.
So you like it more here, yeah?
Yeah, I think I like this.
So
because I'm older now, I
Yeah.
can't be doing with all that hectic lifestyle anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
when I go there,
yeah,
I hate it because it's so busy.
yeah, it's so busy.
Yeah, it's so busy.
And what about your son? Obviously, he's in his
hates it
teenagers.
here.
He hates it here.
He hates it here, and he hates me for bringing him here.
So
Literally.
when he goes back there, does he come back or he stays there?
He's going. He goes as many times as he can go, stays as long as he can stay, and then comes back for school purpose. Now, when he finishes in June, he's going, and he says he doesn't ever want to come back here again.
And
So-
because of you, he has to come back. Obviously, his mom
Yeah,
is
but
here.
that's why he's trying so hard to find me a job elsewhere, so he can visit me elsewhere instead of here.
So, what's your near future plans? Like, do you want to stay here for a longer
I am
period of time?
hoping by August I'll be gone.
Where do you
if
want
I'm
to go?
successful. Now I've been applying for jobs in the UAE,
Yeah.
and I applied for one in Brunei.
Yeah.
Brunei turned me down because of my age.
Okay.
They have an age limit, cut-off limit of 55,
Yeah.
and I'm 59. So I might not be as successful as I'm hoping, but hopefully someone will pick up the goodness in me in my CV and just give me a job for August.
Okay.
So I can
So,
go.
do you think if you get the job, it will be okay?
If
you
I
will be
get the
happy?
job, I'm going.
You are
And
going.
I'm staying as long as possible.
Why are you going? Is it financial situation?
Financial.
in the Cyprus.
Financial
or
and the
something else?
opportunities there, and the security that you're given, and the safety of the place. You know, as soon as you enter the country, your visa's done, your residence are done, your health insurance is done, they pay you well, they pay you to go on holiday, pay you to come back, you get a furnished flat. It's just impossible to dream of that here.
If you had
And
stayed,
I need a bit more financial security, and there's no way I'm going to get that in North Cyprus.
if you had stayed in England after the failure of the marriage and you kept on staying there, do you see that you would be much more established or happy in your life, or what?
I
What
don't
do
know
you think?
about happy, but more established and more secure, yes.
So do you?
Financially, I would have been more secure.
But health-wise and
Health-wise, probably in a mental institution by now.
so how do we choose between the two? I mean,
Well,
security, financially being secure is better, or a life of your own at a slow pace
I think
and social
slower pace and feeling better up here, you know, feeling more serene in your brain is better than the security that is not guaranteed at the end anyway. I mean, security in terms of pension and everything would be better in England.
Yeah.
But then again, mental health wise, so many people leaving the profession in droves, you know, whether it's primary or secondary, because it doesn't pay well. The demands are getting harder and harder. And there's the outside influence of more foreigners, more Eastern Europeans. Maybe not so now they've come out of Europe, but there was an influx. There was an influx of Eastern Europeans and the problems those.
What do you think about those Brits who get retired in England and then they come here, buy the property, and they start living?
Yeah, lovely.
Do
Because
you
the
think
income from there, their pension,
yeah,
it's enough to give them what they need here. Because you need to have money to live on an island.
Yeah.
And you definitely need it in North Cyprus.
What do you think? North Cyprus is a place to be visited and to be lived like the.
Maybe retire to with money coming from abroad.
Yeah. Is it a good country to live when you are financially secure?
Yes. Yes, if you don't get involved in politics and you don't pay attention to politics.
Yeah.
Because it's a beautiful little island. But you need to have the means to get around. You need to have the means to live the life that you want to live. And financially, if you're not secure enough, you don't enjoy it.
Yeah. You've got a small dog. It's
Simba.
Simba.
I love Simba.
And Simba seems like a spoiled child. Is it the too much love that you have given to Simba? Or?
I give love because I'm full of love.
Yeah.
And I have to give it to something or someone, so I give it to Simba.
Oh yes, yes. Because Simba is like owner of the house.
A pampered child. Simba is the king of the jungle. And he knows it.
He knows it. He knows it. It was very nice to have you here in our studio of Common Tales. I'll be
I
in
like
touch.
that Common
And
Tales.
what about any suggestion that you want to give to the world, not just to the people from Britain or any other Western countries, but I mean, what is your advice or a piece of advice to the whole world or humanity?
Whole world. Never mind the whole world.
Okay.
It's just if anybody's thinking about settling here,
Yeah.
come and rent and live here for a year first.
Yeah.
And then decide.
Okay.
I regret not doing that.
Okay.
I just sold up and moved here thinking everything was going to be hunky-dory, and no, it's not like that at all.
Okay. Thank you very much, Elif, for joining
Thank you
us
for
in our
having
studio. Viewers, that was Elif in our studio, and we are very thankful to her that she joined us here and she talked to us and she took some time from her precious time out and
Yes.
came and talked to us. We will see you with another person in Common Tale. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Wow.